Now, the man we're about to meet is definitely a night owl. While the rest of us are going to bed, he's getting up to hunt the night sky for comets and storms and rainbows, moonbows, asteroids, auroras, which is why Martin McKenna from Mahara is known as the night sky hunter. And boy, has he been busy in the last couple of weeks, particularly. Martin is on the line now, and we do feel bad about ringing you at this time of the day, Martin, when you probably, maybe not that long in and ready to go to your bed. So thank you for taking the call. Were you out last night? It wasn't a great night, maybe, was it?
I am, Marie. No, I wasn't out last night. It clouded over, but I was out the previous night, Thursday night, around County Tyrone there, and I got to see comet neowise, so that was pretty good.
This is one of the reasons, because I follow you on Twitter, as a lot of people do, and this was the reason I thought we need to get Martin on and explain what comet neowise is. But before you tell us about the comet, explain to people what you actually do, Martin.
Well, in a nutshell, I'm a photographer. But at my sort of baseline, my foundation is in astronomy. So I started off with astronomy about 20 years ago, visual observations, telescopes, having a real passion, observing the aurora. And then I got into thunderstorms, weather photography. So the whole thing started off visual and moved off into photography direction. And now, well, for quite a few years now, I've been doing it for a living, selling images and video footage and things like that. So I have a real passion for documenting the sky. But to tell you the truth, there's more to it than that.
Sure.
I like to capture what we can get in the skies above Northern Ireland to show people what can actually happen, the really cool stuff. Because a lot of people don't realise just what goes on in the sky above, and it's good to get evidence of it and share it and motivate people to get out there.
Well, that's right, and that's one of the motivating factors for you. You want to capture this, show it to other people and say, will you look up and try and appreciate the wonders of our cosmos, the sky above our heads. And you had a special moment not that long ago with this comet neowise. That's the name of the comet. Why was it so special, and what did you see?
Well, comets are special in general, and comets are very special to me because I'm very passionate about them. It was a comet back in 1997 called Hale-Bopp, which many people I'm sure would remember. It was this comet that got me interested in astronomy. It got me interested in looking up at the sky. Beforehand, I never would have looked up. But one lovely early hours morning, I think in the winter time, I was outside Mahara with a friend, and I accidentally seen this comet rising over the trees before dawn with a huge searchlight beam tail dominating the sky. It was a horrific, I say horrific because I was actually kind of frightened because it looked like something that shouldn't have been there among the stars. It was an incredible sight, but it was absolutely beautiful, mysterious, and I was hooked. I wanted to know what is going on here. What is this visitor hanging in the sky? What are these things? And then I found out the next day it was a comet because it was all over the media at the time. And I wanted to know, how do people find these things? Can I see more? What do they mean? What's it all about? So I was hooked on comets ever since.
But you didn't really expect, or did you, to see this one that you filmed? Because you've sent a great time-lapse video of it, and it is a remarkable sight, all right. Did you know that this was liable to happen that night?
Well, yes, in a way. Astronomers knew the comet was coming. It was discovered in March last year by a satellite that searches for these near-Earth objects that could threaten the Earth, and it picked this one up. The interesting thing was there was a number of comets that were expected to become bright this year, you see, and many amateur astronomers were excited about it, but all of them fizzled out, as comets tend to do. Sometimes they can be fragile things, and they disintegrate when they go near the sun.
Right.
So many observers were let down. We didn't expect much to happen. The neowise was discovered in March. It was expected to maybe become a binocular object during this time of the year, but hopes were low. It probably wouldn't sustain its brightness, maybe disintegrate just like the others. So nobody really paid it that much attention in the Northern Hemisphere. Then it rounded the sun. It went into outburst and erupted into this beautiful bright comet. It just took us all by surprise.
And where were you?
Turned out to be
Where were you when you saw it? It's just when you said it rounded, before you said the sun, I thought you were going to say it rounded the bend, and there it was at Drumlamp Wood. But where did you see it from?
Oh, I made sure my first observation was going to be a good one. Whenever the skies cleared, I headed to the County Antrim coast. I went to Ballintoy Harbour, simply because the skies are quite dark there, and there's a good view over the ocean horizon, because the comet is quite low in the sky. And that's where I seen it. And I've been following it for 9 nights ever since, and As I said, the brightest comet since Hale-Bopp, so that's 23 years ago. So we had about 23 years for a proper naked eye comet, so they're very special and very rare.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Martin, stay with us for another few minutes, because we're going to take you back in time a little bit now, because the first time we met, Martin and I met, was at Drumlamp Wood near Mahara, between Mahara and Garva on the Grilla Road, when Martin explained that you don't have to go very far, as he hinted there in our chat, to witness the wonders of the universe.
Northern Ireland is a hotspot for aurora. It always has been and always will be. We're at a very favourable position, on the geomagnetic map. The aurora visits our shores, it visits us over land in regular intervals, and if you're lucky enough and you time it right, when there's a good solar activity, you will see it, and you don't even need to be at the coast. The coast is fantastic because it's so dark, there's no lights. But inland, in a good geomagnetic storm, as some people will probably remember from maybe 10, 20 years ago, there's been awesome storms here that covered the entire sky, blood red colours and greens and blues, and with motions so fast it was almost like a silent explosion going off in the sky. Some people will remember those. I remember seeing those myself, and honestly, I know people who actually went to Iceland looking for the aurora, have been clouded out, or the aurora never happened, and then they come back and they seen it from Glenshane Pass. So that's the kind. So yes, it's nice to do that, to go further north and see that, and the auroras will always be stronger and brighter and so forth. But to see it from your own country, it's
even more special.
It's even more special. It's closer to the heart.
Barry, what's the weather going to do to us? Is it going to be awful?
Well, we certainly have warnings out for it at the moment for coastal areas. All we are expecting some big waves later on today when the high tides come in. As a result, we can see some coastal flooding and possibly something like that.
You're a storm chaser, you're an astronomer, you're a photographer, but is it storm chaser? Is that about the right way to describe one of the other things that you do?
That's right, that's my other passion as well, yeah. Storms, I love chasing storms, finding storms, photographing storms. I get such a buzz from photographing nature. Again, it's just another manifestation of nature being dynamic and unpredictable, and trying to catch it in the act during that special moment. Every season brings presents me with something special from the sky. During the summer, we get the strong solar heating. It's good for thunderstorms, and we get noctilucent clouds at night time, which are another amazing phenomena. However, once the heating cools down, the seasons change, the nights draw in. That's when the stars come out. We get longer, darker nights, and of course the magnetic field orientation around the poles of the earth are more favourable for the aurora. So there's actually 2 aurora seasons each year. One spring, one is the autumn equinox. So from approximately September, October, November period is the hot zone, the window period to see aurora. Aurora can be extremely intense during that time, and and that's when you need to be on the hunt, when you need to watch and studying the charts, and you can see a show of a lifetime.
Even further inland, we will have some strong gusts with showers coming in. It'll be quite squally, and some of those showers will have thunder and hail mixed in as well. Not terribly pleasant, but in between the showers, well, at least it's going to be bright, and we may even get some sunshine.
Maybe you do have a part-time job with the Met Office. I don't know, and if you don't, maybe they should sign you up. But how do you work out where they're going to be? You must be pretty good at studying the weather charts.
The best thing to do is to learn how to forecast myself, and that's what I did. I started learning to do it. It's quite complex, but it's even more rewarding, because from looking at charts, looking at numbers, from model forecast days in advance, and if it leads up to a spectacular moment, I've seen a funnel cloud rotating in the sky trying to put down a tornado, say, over Lough Neagh, a couple of days in the future, it all comes back 2 days before from some chart, from some weather balloon that was released from the sky, and you're reading those charts, trying to interpret the weather, figuring out where to go, when's it going to happen, looking at the wind shear, the cape. That's part of the excitement.
So it's not always just about the big drama of thunder and lightning necessarily. What else would you be looking for? Because we're always giving off about the awful weather we have. Do we have awful weather? Do we have weather worth photographing? Obviously we do.
Yeah, we certainly do. Probably more so than most other areas, because our weather is so dynamic. It's always changing. We live in an island surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean, and the wind comes from different directions. We get the warm southwesterlies, we get the freezing northerlies, we get the easterly. It's always changing, and that can bring snow, hailstones, thunder and lightning, hot sunshine. You can get all that within a day. It's fantastic. If you're at the right place at the right time, the weather's happening and the light is good, you'll get phenomenal photographs, and I can't think of a better place to be honest.
In his element comment. Didn't it sound like that? Martin McKenna, the night sky hunter, and Martin was listening to that. That was a great chat, Martin, a great wee walk and talk. I have to admit now, it was in daylight hours, because you did ask me to come out at 2 or 3 in the morning, and I declined your kind invitation. But I like it when people don't complain about the weather. You're not a man who would ever complain about the weather. But I was thinking as well, the last few months, people forget because we had a bit of rain this week, have been phenomenal throughout the lockdown. March, April, May, it was incredible. Good weather for us. And maybe is that one of the reasons why you were so prolific, Martin, in that time period?
And that was a very good point, actually. The start of lockdown was phenomenal. Some of the best spring weather we've seen in years. I couldn't believe it. It was really good for everybody's mental health, wasn't it? Everybody's out in the garden and looking up the sky. And for me, yes, it was an absolute bonus, because I had a prolific number of rare clear nights in this country, because often we're battling with cloud here. And I've got to observe some of the other comets before this one came along. I was out with the telescope every night reconnecting with nature, and it's such a positive thing, and it got me back on track again, towards my roots of astronomical observing.
You are a great ambassador, Martin. You've got us all fired up this morning, and it's lovely to chat to you again. So thank you very much for that. And give our best to Roshan as well, your other half, your better half, some might say. Tell her I was asking for as well. She was with you the last time whenever we chatted too. So Martin McKenna, you won't mind me giving you your website address. It's
no, not a problem, not at all.
nightskyhunter.com, isn't that it?
That's correct, yes.
That's where you'll find Martin and see amazing photographs and time-lapse photography. I can't seem to say that. Time-lapse photography. Of course, ring us if you need any more details. Martin, in the meantime, all the very best. Take care of yourself.
Thanks very much, Anne-Marie.
No problem.
All the best.
All the best. Take care now. Telephone number 030 30 80 55 55. Or maybe if you have seen any